Hello, a very warm welcome to you from wherever in the world you're watching to the 5th edition of Dealstream. Very excited for you to be with us today. It's the show where we introduce you to some of the most exciting startups in the clean tech space. And over the course of the next 45 minutes or so, we'll bring you 5 startups, all of which have progressed through the Climate-KIC accelerator. They'll each get a 2-minute video pitch and then a 5-minute live Q&A. So that's the format of how today's going to work. Now, I should say these are some of the sharpest, most entrepreneurial minds in this space. They're all seeking funding. Welcome along to Dealstream. Now, all of these startups very much looking to change the game. And as I said, they're also looking for investment. And that's why joining me for today's Dealstream is someone who can ask the difficult questions, Katya Akalinisheva. Katya, welcome along to Dealstream. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, well, it's really a pleasure to have you on board. You're someone who has sat on both sides of the table, I suppose, Katya. Investor side, startup side. Give me a little bit about your background in the space, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. So my main background is on the investor side. So I've worked most of my career in finance, worked in private equity, venture capital. So for the last 4 years prior to my current role, I was running a small venture fund inside a company called Systemic, that is a sustainability consulting and investing firm. And then last summer, I actually decided to join one of my portfolio companies from there full time. The company is called Zero Avia. We're working on sustainable aviation. And at Zero Avia, my main role is again around fundraising. So I'm the CFO, but predominantly focused currently on getting our Series A. So I've definitely experienced the ups and downs of the process from both sides of the equation.
And would you say that your experience on the investment side has guided your experience on the startup side? You know what more to do and what not to do, say?
Definitely. I mean, it's sort of just streamlined the process because I know the questions that are going to get asked. I know the information I need to provide. I also have a pretty good network from kind of the investing days, co-investors. So I think it's definitely made the role easier for me. But I have to say that living through it on the entrepreneur side, it's definitely higher stress, higher risk than doing it from the investor side.
And if I was to ask you to put your investor's hat on, what really grabs your attention, I suppose, when you're hearing from startups? What main things do you want to be hearing from the startups?
I mean, there's a lot of fundamentals that everyone's going to rattle off, and you can Google those. But I mean, I think for me, it's the conviction of the team is really critical. I do really believe that at the early stage, your own belief in what you're doing is a big part of the reason that you're going to succeed. And so communicating why you're doing this and how committed you are to the space, I think communicating that well is a key part of a pitch and ultimately a key part of your success as a company.
Well, we're going to be hearing some pitches today, that's for sure. Katya, it's a real pleasure to have you on Dealstream with us. Let's have a little look at what we've got coming up on today's show. So in a few moments, we'll be finding out more about Imperio, as you can see there, Goodbag, Bettery, Growberry and Heycharge. Some really exciting names in the clean tech space. Really, really looking forward to speaking to the founders and the CEOs and the COOs of these companies. But before we begin, just a little bit of housekeeping. You can see there, that little section, who is it for? Have to provide you with some legal information, as is always the way. The information provided in this deal stream is only intended for investment professionals. Climate-KIC doesn't provide investment advice nor any representation about the companies featured. If you do choose to invest, then of course it goes without saying your capital is at risk. You may not get any or all of your money back. Dealstream, of course, is provided for information purposes only. It may be considered advertising financial products in some countries. But there you go. That is our legal notice out of the way. Let's get stuck into this edition of Dealstream. Okay, without further ado, to our very first startup. They are called Imperio, and they've developed a compact incineration system for the disposal of sewage. Their CEO is Alexander Belskis.
Hi, I'm Alexander, CEO of Imperio from Latvia. There are about 10,000 wastewater treatment plants all across Germany, and all of them every year generate 7 million of waste called sewage sludge. And according to the latest German legislation, all this sludge should be incinerated within a decade. This is the reason why all over the Germany started to build centralized mega incinerators, where wastewater treatment plants will have to bring their sewage sludge by trucks every day, tens of kilometers away, and also pay a high gate fees for utilization. Imperio offers alternative. It's a compact incineration system for on-site installation at the wastewater treatment plants, so the sewage sludge will not be needed to transport somewhere, but it will be possible to incinerate on-site. And it will bring to wastewater treatment plants independence from centralized incinerators and their high gate fees. So the utilization cost also will go down twice, and the payoff period for the equipment will be very short, within 3 years only. According to the latest German market research, there is very high interest to such kind of incinerators, and especially for the small wastewater treatment plants, which is our segment market and target market. And they are exactly in amount 315 in Germany. Within 5 years, we are going to take 10% of this market segment with a beta of 15 million euro by the end of this 5-year period. To perform this, we need to realize industrial prototype installation in the north of Germany at our pilot customer location. And for this, we need investment of 1 million. And we have primary negotiation with our existing investors for 250K. For 1 million, we are ready to provide 20% of our companies and estimate the return of multiple index of 4 within 5 years. So if you're interested, please come back to me and ask your additional question. Thank you very much.
And as we can see, Alex joins us on DealStream now. Alexander, thank you so much for being our very first guest on this episode of DealStream. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing great. I'll start off with some questions for you, Alex. Just give me a sense of what would you say your competitive advantages are over other people in the space, say?
Yeah, actually, we consider that we do not have direct competitors. So there are solutions for the small volumes of sewage sludge utilization, but based only on different technology, which do not provide ash with a phosphor recovery possibility. Or there are another competitors which actually serve for the higher volume of sewage sludge utilization. So, and they're not suitable for niche of small wastewater treatment plants, what is our target segment.
We're going to take it in turns asking you questions, Alexander. So Katya will go next.
Sure, Katya.
Yeah, hi. So one question I had was, when you scale down to smaller units, do you lose anything in process efficiency, output quality, anything like that? So are there any disadvantages of moving to a smaller system?
Yeah, actually, it was not like a traditional technology, just scaling down. It's a technology which is, let me say, redesigned. It's traditional technology, but it's realized in small scale. And this is exactly our advantage. So we do the same job what larger incinerators do, but only we do it in small scale. It means that we can serve this market of small wastewater treatment plants, and also our equipment in means of, let me say, quantity of materials and production costs is cheaper. That's why we go to the better utilization fees for the wastewater treatment plants.
And Alexander, what would you say your biggest challenge has been over the course of Imperio's journey so far?
Yeah, actually, the biggest challenge is right now because we are in a world of death, and that's why we are looking for funding for realizing the pilot demonstrator. And this is a big challenge because the volumes of the investment what we are looking for is quite high. It's 1 million, and it's really hard to find. Actually, that's why I'm looking for every opportunity.
Katya, over to you.
Yeah, so one more question I had was on the maintenance side. So when you kind of put this on site at the client rather than a centralized location, does that mean the client has to take more responsibility for that? And what does that look like?
Yeah, we are planning that there will be a local service provided by our partners in every country. So in our beachhead market in Germany, so we'll have companies there who will serve our equipment, and the service and maintenance, it will happen just couple times a year. So it not be like every year, and the equipment will be as autonomous and with no need of human resources needed for maintenance. maintenance as possible. That's why it's very critical to realize it in this way. Otherwise, the payment for the labor will be included into utilization fee, and we have to avoid it. So it will be automatical.
Alex, that is all we've got time for. You did splendidly well coming on DealStream. Thank you so much for being part of the program, and we'll hear from you again soon. Bye-bye, Alex.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, one more down, 4 more to go in today's DealStream. Alexander gets us off to a really stellar start, doesn't he? Now we have Bettery. Their vision, in their words, taken from their website, is to change the paradigm of energy storage, which is by no means a large claim, is it? Their co-founder, Alessandro, can tell us more.
Thanks, Andrew, for inviting me. Bettery is a high-tech startup which designed and developed Nessox, a patented new generation of batteries able to overcome the limitation of current battery and drastically accelerate the transition to a low-carbon society. As we all know today, storage systems are a key element to reduce our environmental impact, but the need for more efficient battery with higher energy density, fast charging with reduced cost and environmental impact is fundamental. To overcome this limitation, Bettery invented a complete new class of battery and introduced Nessox. Nessox is new semi-solid flow lithium oxygen battery that delivers a specific energy up to 5 times higher than the best performing commercial batteries, leveraging the use of light elements like lithium and oxygen. Its unique design, inspired to flow batteries, allows high flexibility and modularity, becoming the only liquid battery that allows a fast recharge by refilling with charged liquid suspension, as it happened with petrols. But it has more unique advantages. It's free from heavy metal components and critical raw materials. The manufacturing of liquid components is cheap and eco-friendly, enabling battery manufacturing integration into a circular economy and reducing the footprint of battery production by 20%. The battery market is characterized by great growth in demand and continuous interest in the best technological solution. The global battery market will grow from 92 billions to 150 billions. We are currently on the scaling up of our technology to reach a minimum viable product within 3 years. And to do this, we are looking for a total investment of around 1.6 million. We have a well-defined roadmap that includes expanding the team by 2-3 people per year, patent more ideas, and build industrial partnership.
And as you can see, Alessandro joins us on DealStream now. Alessandro, welcome along. As you said there, you're seeking 1.6 million. Can you just elaborate, Alessandro, on how you'll spend that money from investors?
Yes, of course. As I said, we are looking for 1.6 million. And this money will be used to arrive with a minimum valuable product within 3 years in the market sensors, and we will spend this money. Basically 50% will go for research, for instrumentation, for laboratory and things like that, and other 30% we need to hire more people because we have a lot of things to do and we need help. And the other 20% will go for patents, for filing new patents and to sustain the patent that we have right now, and for the marketing, for let's say for brand awareness, for getting us to know to the industrials.
And as you can see, Alessandro, Katya is alongside me as well. I know she's got a couple of questions for you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's everything you said sounds like a dream come true. Sort of high energy density, fast charging, etc. Sort of, why you? I guess a lot of people have been putting a lot of time, a lot of money. You know, there's big companies who are trying to innovate in this space, as well as lots of other smaller ones. So I guess, you know, what really stands you apart? How did you manage to solve some of these challenges, and why do you think you'll be successful longer term?
Okay, we managed to solve some of these challenges because we are a highly skilled team. Francesca Soavi and Francesca De Giorgio, the two main founders of the idea, they've been working in the battery field for more than 30 years. They have an extensive experience, and Francesca Soavi, she is head of International Electrochemical Society. We are, again, a highly committed team. We work all together in the same lab. We met 4 years ago, and we are working every day on this. And we were able to overcome those problems within the technology because of the special design of our battery. We were able to unlock the chemistry of lithium oxygen battery because we adopted a different design. So the real innovation is in the design and in the some of the components that we use. And this chemistry made us able to reach such high energy density. And being a liquid battery, we can make a complete full recharge within minutes, just changing the exhausted liquid.
Alessandro, I wonder, how has COVID-19 impacted Bettery?
Sorry?
How has COVID-19 and the pandemic affected the business?
It affected a little bit because we were able to go to access to our laboratory for a little bit, but we are managing it. We are setting all the meetings online, and it slowed down the seeking for funding, basically.
And one more question from Katja we've got time for.
Yeah, one thing I'm wondering is about the end of life. So one of the criticisms of batteries is that we don't know how to recycle them, and therefore there's a lot of kind of stranded assets there. Have you thought about that and trying to make that part of the loop more circular?
Yeah, so one great feature of our battery is the liquid. It does have carbonaceous suspension, and the liquid can be easily recovered. So when it's wasted, you can separate all the components by filtering, by other chemical techniques, and you can actually recover the single components of the battery and reuse them. We already did that in the lab. And this comes mainly because it's a liquid battery. It's not solid, and it does not contain any rare metal, dangerous metal for environment or for the people. And so it does fit really well in a vision of circular economy.
Alessandro, it's a pleasure to have you on this episode of Dealstream. Thank you so much for giving up your time and for being a guest on this episode. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Now, before we head into the next startup, I want to show you a little roundup of the latest listings on the Climate-KIC investor marketplace. There are more and more being uploaded all the time. It's well worth signing up and exploring all of the startups listed there. So here to tell us a little bit more about that is Mark de Cruyff.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark and I'm one of the investor marketplace managers. As always, I'm going to give you a roundup of 3 recent listings on the investor marketplace. First off, we got Seawater Solutions from Glasgow, UK. Now, Seawater Solutions developed a technology that enables them to turn abandoned and low-valued land into healthy salt marsh ecosystems. In those new ecosystems, high-value food can be grown. They're looking for a 1.6 million euro seed round to continue their product development and implementation. Second is Vanex from Zurich, Switzerland. Vanex developed insulation panels made from industrial waste. Their panels offer remarkable insulation properties, high mechanical strength, and non-flammability. They're looking for a 1.9 million euro seed round for piloting production line, certification, and to do demonstrators. Third and last for the day is Triply from Linz, Austria. Triply has developed a software solution that supports decision makers in making improvements to their current mobility situation and to identify market opportunities. As such, time needed for planning and implementation can be reduced by 90%. They are raising a 300,000 euro seed round to co-finance projects and to expand their team. That's it for now. For more information on these listings and many more, please do visit the Climate-KIC Investor Marketplace website. And now we can go back to you, James.
Thank you very much, Mark. As I said, well worth signing up to the investor marketplace. There is a whole host of fantastic startups listed there, a variety of asks as well, as Mark was saying, so you can really tailor depending on what you're looking for. We'll find out more about the marketplace a little later on. But for now, let's crack on with today's deal stream. We've got 3 more really exciting startups to speak to, and today's third startup, one I'm really excited to speak to, Goodbag, who have developed a smart, reusable bag with a whole host of benefits. To explain more, here's Christoph.
Hello, deal streamers. My name is Christoph from Goodbag, and we enable everyone to do good everywhere. Let me start with a question. How often did you end up buying a reusable shopping bag last year because you realized you forgot your bag at home and it ended up as just another reusable bag being forgotten at home with all the others? Now imagine if your bag was not just another reusable bag, but your daily tool to solve problems like climate change or plastic pollution. Let me introduce Goodbag to you. Goodbag is a smart reusable bag that enables you to plant trees, clean plastic waste out of the ocean, or receive discounts every time you reuse your bag in over 10 million stores worldwide. How does it work? You just go shopping with your Goodbag. In the shop, you open up the Goodbag app, choose your reward, for example, planting a tree, and activate it by holding your phone close to the Goodbag logo. Now you planted a tree. It's simple as that. For companies, Goodbag is a brand new way to communicate and protect the environment together with their customers in order to reduce plastic, increase their sustainability ratings, and win new customers. This already convinced large companies like Swiss retailer Denner or Europe's biggest airport, London Heathrow, to become our clients. Today, Goodbag can be used in over 10 million stores worldwide, and we have over 1,000 partner shops in 7 countries. Over the last 12 months, we generated over €500,000 in revenue, of which more than 50% are recurring revenues or revenues from software fees. How do we make money? Our business model is simple. We charge companies a recurring software fee and for every interaction and promotion in the Goodbag app. On top of that, we directly sell them our bags. To grow as quickly as possible and become the leading platform for sustainable engaged customers, we are looking for raising a pre-seed investment round of up to €750,000. If you want to invest and become part of our success story, we are looking forward to meet you.
Well, we don't have to wait long to meet Christoph because here he is on Dealstream. Christoph, welcome along. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing really good. I've got Katja on alongside me as well, and we're both going to ask you a couple of questions today. I'll get things started, Christoph. If you could just give me a run through of who your clients are. Does this work just for retail, or is it consumer brands as well?
So we're super excited to already have large clients, for example, Swiss retailer Denner, which is part of the Migros Group, which is the 17th largest retail group in the world, or Europe's biggest airport, London Heathrow. At the moment, you can use and buy Goodbags in over 1,000 partner stores in 7 countries. But what we're super excited about is that we are just recently developed the new version of the Goodbag app, allowing our users to use the Goodbag system and collect plastic waste out of the ocean in over 10 million stores worldwide. And this means that you can do good with your Goodbag wherever you live. So if you want to use it in Coles in Australia or Walmart in the US, you can do that. And this also taps up a new group of consumer brands that now can become part of the Goodbag solution by becoming a sponsor and engage with our users and basically promote their brands and do good together with customers directly at the point of sale in the stores, and a feature that has been both requested from our users and also several brands who wanted to become part of the Goodbag solution to interactively protect the environment with their customers, which is super important nowadays.
Katja, over to you.
And a quick question around the sort of customer retention engagement metrics. If you could comment a little bit on that, just based on the operation so far, how have you seen that unfolding?
So we have seen an increasing amount of retention in the last weeks since we launched the feature, with allowing our users to use it worldwide with all the stores. And this is like super exciting. We had like over 100% increasement in customer retention over the last two months on a weekly basis, which is super exciting for us, because now you can, if you own a Goodbag, you can use it wherever. And this is something where we consistently improve, and this is like what we really thrive for. And we're now building gamification into the system, basically building streaks into the system, allowing customers to gain even points when they reuse their Goodbag. So currently we are having around 5,000 active users, of which around 12% are heavy users. These are users that use their Goodbag at least 3 times a week. And when I say use, I mean like use it with the app. Like we don't know what's happening without the app, but hopefully you never use a Goodbag without the app. So these are the metrics that I can give you. And we have right now we have over 300 active users per day. Consequently, over the last 4 weeks, this is the last time I checked, it was between 200 and 300 in the range.
Christoph, you've sort of touched on it, I suppose, there, but, give me a sense more about the use cases and how many more use cases there could be for this technology, I suppose.
Yes, so I'm super excited about answering this question, because our vision and mission is really to enable everyone to do good everywhere. And what our goal is to build the leading platform for sustainable, engaged customers. So Goodbag is just one tiny piece of the puzzle of the platform that we want to build overall. It's about mobility, it's about energy consumptions. The next use case, and we have a really good roadmap when we want to launch which use case within the platform, would be a reusable coffee mug that works on the same technology. And we want to also integrate consumption to really also allow our users to track the environmental footprint of the items that they actually put into the bag, because this is something where we can really achieve the highest possible impact by actually assisting users in a fun and engaging way to allow them to make better choices. So really our vision itself is really about becoming this platform where I can get almost like as accurate as possible picture of my own footprint and improve my behavior step by step, and making it fun, because this is really important, because otherwise you will not be engaged.
Great. My last question is around how you select the offset projects. So you mentioned like tree planting and plastics, so just a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're super excited with the partners that we currently work together. I can name them. It's Reforest. It's a Belgian organization, and they're doing an amazing work. Like they're working in projects worldwide, most of them being in Africa, but also in Brazil and in Southeast Asia. And for us, it's really important that for every tree that's planted within the app, really a tree goes into the ground. But they're not only stopping at the ecological impact, because they're also supporting the local communities in these areas who kind of develop a new possible source of income that allows them to also have an impact on the social aspect. Regarding the collection of the plastic, we're working together with the German organization One Earth, One Ocean, and they're also doing tremendous work, doing really like already on the ground, having several ships doing ocean cleanups, and they have a really big vision for becoming kind of the plastic collection company of the ocean. And it's a really great partner that we're very glad to work with. We're also now expanding on several other partners, and it's also possible for any of our customers, if they have a certain project in mind that they want to become a part within the Goodbag, we can also integrate that. But we really 100% can vouch for the partners that we're currently working with, and ideally any of our commercial partners really supports them, because we feel like every euro put to them is a euro very well put.
Christoph, that's all we've got time for. You did brilliantly coming on this episode of DealStream. Thank you so much. Take care. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Christoph. Bye-bye. Well, we are really racing through it today. Just 2 more startups to speak to. The time really is flying by, isn't it? A real variety of businesses, and we're moving into yet another different sector now. This time, novel techniques for sustainable and environmentally friendly farming. The company is called Growberry, and here's Attila to explain more.
Hi everyone, my name is Attila, and I'm the founder and CEO of Growberry, and I'm here to talk to you about my business and a little bit about agriculture. I believe everybody who's watching us right now is very much aware of the challenges farmers and the related processing industries are facing. Climate change has made farming even more unpredictable, and due to COVID, other factors have come into play. There are solutions to help, like greenhouses that can be used almost anywhere if there's a good business case, but having good solutions available don't mean we solve the problem. Our present and future customers are in the processing industry, work with contract farmers, and are suffering from the unpredictable supply of crops. We offer them supply chain management as a service, from selecting the right crops through managing their relationships with the contract farmers, up until quality assurance and logistics. But we don't plan to stop there. We also support the farmers with the right growing practices and infrastructure so we can make mutually beneficial cooperations for all parties involved. This also creates an opportunity to use EU and local funds more efficiently and to stop the depopulation of the rural areas in Eastern Europe. And by growing locally, we can reduce the carbon output caused by transportation as well. We launched our services in September, and we already have paying customers in Hungary. We believe there's a big market out there with a total value of more than 1 billion euros, and we want to control 20% of that in 5 years. This is an ambitious plan, but I have great co-founders with huge experience who have all been involved in startups previously. We have a fantastic team who combine expertise and pro skills with talent and energy. But we won't be able to make it ourselves. We need industrial and sales partnerships and smart money to unlock our full potential. To build a demo greenhouse and to expand the team with the best experts to provide the right level of service and to expand our operations to the neighboring countries. Thank you very much for your attention. Let's bring agriculture to the next level together.
Very nice sign off there from Attila, and as you can see, he's with us now on DealStream. Attila, thank you so much for being part of the program. How is it going with you?
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity. I'm very well.
I was just, watching the piece there, and there's some of the numbers that you're talking about and that you mentioned. They're very ambitious, as you were saying. I suppose what sets you apart from traditional integrator companies in that sense?
Yeah, I believe the key difference is that we try to hold all the pieces of the business together, and this is what the typical integrators do, but we focus on the controlled agriculture, so the controlled environment agriculture solely. And while we are very good in the operational bit as well, but we try to get very much involved in the research and development part of the process as well. And how we do that, we try to involve the best industry experts and try to access their knowledge and create kind of a profit sharing agreement. So we don't need to do everything ourselves, but to create a win-win scenario for each and every player involved in the process.
Catch is up next with her question.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not an expert in this industry, and maybe it's for that reason, but I didn't fully understand kind of what exactly you do and kind of like what your service is versus what sort of others are responsible for. So maybe in the context of one specific customer, you could quickly walk through an example of how it was done before and how it was done once you got involved.
Okay, so let's assume, and this is going to be a live example, but let's assume this is just in theory. So there's a customer who is interested in the chili business, and it's in the processing industry and interested in a specific element, the capsaicin. And right now, if he goes out to contract farmers, he has to, talk with each and every individual and find the best chili out there and the farmer who can produce the maximum output in terms of capsaicin. It's a pretty heavy activity. What happens if he don't find anyone? He needs to invest into the growing methods, the growing technology. He needs to talk to the right experts who know how to grow chili with the maximum capsaicin content, and also figure out how to, grow it on a larger scale in a greenhouse or in a plastic tunnel as well. Now we can do this all on behalf of the processor, so we can, do the research and development bit. We also figure out how to grow this on a larger scale. We do a demo run in a small scale greenhouse, like 50 square meters, and then we package all the technological components together, and we have rolling that out to larger contract farmers. So this is what we do.
Attila, who's your ideal customer in that sense?
We specifically target those industrial players who have a need. It's a kind of crop that is currently not available on larger scale. I mean, the right quality is not available on a larger scale, or has been hit by recent changes, either due to the climate change or COVID. And especially if that crop has a high upside in terms of potential, if it's grown in a controlled environment.
Great. My final question was, I noticed you said you're raising 1 million in equity and 1 million in convertible. I was wondering why you were splitting it that way.
We believe that that's a good question. The current valuation of the company, if we raise by all in equity, so we need roughly 2 million to get to the next level, we believe. And if we raise it all together in equity, then that would screw up the cap table a little bit. So that's the main reason behind.
Attila, that's all we've got time for. We'll leave it there, but best of luck. Thank you so much for being part of this episode of Dealstream.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Take care.
Thank you.
Wow, where does the time go? On to our last startup. I'm very excited about this last one because we all know how big electric vehicles already are, how big, of course, that they're going to become. But this next startup, Heycharge, makes charging available for apartment buildings, which, of course, could be a huge potential market. So let's hear then from their CEO, Chris, who's next up on Dealstream.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm the founder and CEO of Heycharge. We're a Munich, Germany-based startup developing ultra-low-cost and easy-to-install electric vehicle charging solutions for apartment buildings. We initially thought the answer to the problem was a pure software platform to create and manage private charging networks at apartments using off-the-shelf wall boxes. And we built that as our first MVP, which is in pilot at a few sites already today. You can see here both the app for drivers and the property management portal used by the owner or manager. However, in building this, we realized the real problem to solve. The architecture used by EV charger networks today drives cost and complexity into every step of the product lifecycle. So we invented SecureCharge, our patent-pending technology to securely manage access to and return billing information back from chargers with no internet connection. So our app runs on the user's mobile phone and acts as a store and forward network, eliminating costs from the charger, from setup, and from running the property. And it turns out that most of our installation sites are underground parking garages with no mobile network. So SecureCharge lets our mobile app work flawlessly with our chargers even underground with no internet connection. And this is absolutely unique in the industry. So I want to introduce you to our first SecureCharge enabled wall box on the right of your screen. We call this Access Point, and it's our lowest cost model. We expect to provide it for between 150 and 300 euros. And here I'm starting a charge session, and you can't really see the bits flying through the air, so you have to kind of trust me that this process is completely secure and can't be subverted by malicious users. You also have to trust me that it's happening completely locally between my phone and the charger, but with access managed by and consumption returned to our backend whenever internet access is available. So our Heycharge home software platform is now enabled to manage homogeneous sites consisting of both legacy chargers from third parties and our own SecureCharge enabled chargers. So on funding, we're planning a seed raise of 1.5 to 2 million euros in the first half of 2021. This will allow us to transition from pilots to scalable commercial operations. In the interim, of course, we're open to high-impact angel investors and B2B pilot projects. If I've caught your interest, please feel free to reach out at hello@heycharge.io. Thank you very much.
Well, Chris, I've got to say, I think you've definitely caught some people's interest, that's for sure. Chris, welcome along to Dealstream. How are you doing?
Pretty well. Yourself?
Yeah, we're doing good. Catch is alongside me. We're both going to ask you a couple of questions. I'll get things started, Chris. Just hearing you talk about how, so much of the market is currently in underground car parks. It's not easy to, I suppose it is easy to see how this could be a huge area for growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see 187 million people in Europe living in apartment buildings. I think by the early 2030s, if I'm not mistaken, 100% of cars sold in Europe must be electric to meet the EU's own carbon neutrality goals. So it's pretty clear, like, these customers are coming, yet there is not a scalable and cheap product to address them. So that's exactly what we're trying to do.
And over to you, Katja.
Thanks. Because I was wondering, sort of, say I live in an apartment building and I really want this. Can I go and buy it, or do I have to get like everyone in the building to agree? Like, how does the installation process work, and who makes the decision, I guess?
So I think for our initial go-to-market, we're going after individual EV drivers who are super enthusiastic and will help drive us through that sales journey. But it's clear that the scalable market that we want to address is basically property managers, professional property managers, owners associations, or individually owned multi-unit properties. And so there it kind of gets down into complexity with legislation and incentives, market by market. For example, in Germany, it's very recent change that only 50% of the owners in a owners association must approve, but that's a very recent change. And so the answer to that question is really going to vary market by market, but it's clear that the government is actively kind of involved in unblocking this for us. I mean, because it's something that really just has to happen.
Chris, I really enjoyed your little live demo in that video as well. Give me a sense of what's so difficult or special, I suppose, about activating a charger with Bluetooth technology, because I think that, that does clearly exist.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people, I mean, basically, it's not that hard if you put it like that. Like your average Philips Hue light bulb can do the exact same thing. But what we do that's really special and unique is we switch that charger on and off using secure charge running over Bluetooth. And that's done in a way that basically our central server can both grant a user access and take away that user's access to access that individual charger. And likewise, we can guarantee that central server receives the information back from the charger about how much power was used, and all of that without an internet connection on the charger. And so that's really like the difference in a nutshell between what a Hue light bulb does and what our technology does.
And we've got time for one more question from Katja, Chris.
Who do you see as your biggest competitor, and what's kind of the barrier to entry?
So it's actually a funny thing, because I think we're taking a really disruptive approach. And so there are many companies out there that offer various pieces that are similar to pieces we have. But what differentiates us is that we're vertically integrating the whole product into a, kind of a single offer under a single brand. And nobody has something like Secure Charge, which basically drops the cost and complexity and pain of installation to the point where we can basically kind of have a retail box model. Like, I can hand you a box with a charger, you can hire an electrician to put it in, and boom, we're online. And I just don't know of another company that has that right now.
Chris, it's an absolute pleasure to get you on this episode of DealStream. Good luck with everything Heycharge related. It sounds like a great idea.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay, Katja, debrief time. What are your thoughts on the 5 startups that we just witnessed?
I mean, I thought they were all really ambitious, and it was great to see such a variety, in so many different areas. I mean, I think it's something I worry about, having had my experience in particular at Zero Obvious, capital intensity. So that was probably the thing that worried me, for example, with Bettery. And to some extent also with the first startup, Imperio, just because the more money it takes you to prove out that something works at scale, the harder it is to access the market. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try, but that's something that just is a trend that I've picked up on in my experience, and I would caution everyone to look out for. So the more you can develop a cheap MVP that you can get off the ground without raising more money, the easier your journey will be. So that's just kind of one overarching remark, but it didn't apply to a lot of the companies in the mix. So,
well, I've got to say, Katja, it's been a pleasure having you on DealStream with me, asking some of the questions. You asked some of the things that I just wouldn't have had a thought about. So thank you so much for being part of it. You've been a great sport, and all the best. Take care.
Thanks.
That's nearly all we've got time for on this episode of DealStream. But just before we go, I just want you to look ahead, I suppose, to 2 new DealStream episodes next Wednesday. And we can see there Deal Stream episode 5, which has just happened. Next Wednesday, we have a Nordic Deal Stream and then another Climate Launchpad Deal Stream right after it. So it should be a very fun day next Wednesday. Please do set those dates in your diary. Okay, there we have it. Some wonderful startups on today's Deal Stream. Thank you so much to them for being part of it, to Katja for coming on and asking some questions alongside me, and of course to you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this episode of Deal Stream, and we will see you in the next one.